Thank you, Rizal, for your good explanation. Hi everyone, my name is Maisarah and I'm going to continue the presentation by comparing face-to-face communication and electronically mediated communication. But first, we have to understand the meaning of both communications. So let's start with face-to-face communication. According to Crowley and Michel, 2013, face-to-face communication is a type of communication where the communicator transmits his message in person to the receiver verbally and even non-verbally. There are many types of face-to-face communication, such as interviews, meetings, conferences, classroom lectures, stage acting, and many more.
Amy, it says you are trained in technology. That's very good. Are you adept at Excel?
No.
PowerPoint?
No.
Publisher?
Not really.
Exactly in what area of technology are you proficient?
Snapchat, Pinterest, Instagram, Vine, Twitter. You know, the big ones.
I'm surprised you didn't say Facebook.
So, the video that you have watched just now is an example of face-to-face interview. Do you notice that the interviewee is not paying attention to the interviewer? Instead, she is scrolling on her phone. This shows that the face-to-face communication there is not effective. In order to make sure that our face-to-face communication is effective, we must follow these 4 principles. Face-to-face communication have 4 principles. The first one, in face-to-face communication, at least 2 individuals, sender and receiver, must be physically and mentally present at the place of communication. Next, there should be proper encoding by the sender with most appropriate words. And next, the receiver have to decode the message after he or she received the message. And lastly, there should be partial or full response or feedback. So when giving feedback, make sure that your choice of words are appropriate and polite. So I think that's enough for face-to-face communication. Now moving on to the electronically mediated communication. Okay, before I start, let me ask you a question. Can you communicate with your friends or your family members using your smartphone without meeting them face-to-face? Of course can, right? So when you go on Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, or Twitter to text your friends, your family members, you are using electronically mediated communication. It is a type of communication that occurs through the use of 2 or more electronic devices. Okay, we're done with the meanings. Now, the next question is, how is electronically mediated communication different from face-to-face communication? There are 5 key differences which have to do with time, varying degrees of anonymity, potential for a deception, non-verbal cues, and lastly, distance. I will explain one by one. Okay, I'll start with the first key difference, which is time. When you interact with others using electronically mediated communication, you can do so asynchronously. Asynchronous messages are not seen, heard, or read at the same time they are sent, but there is a time delay between when you send a message and when someone else receives it. For example, when you send a text message to your friends. In face-to-face communication, the conversations are synchronous. What is synchronous? Synchronous messages are sent and received instantly and simultaneously, meaning that there is no time delay like in electronically mediated communication. Okay, next is varying degrees of anonymity. What is anonymity? According to the Oxford Learner's Dictionary, anonymity is the state of remaining unknown to most of the people. In electronically mediated communication, you can be anonymous. Anyone can be anonymous, okay? You may not know precisely whom you are communicating with. For example, you may receive an email from someone you don't know. Because you can be anonymous, you may say things that are bolder, more honest than you would if the audience know who you are. But in face-to-face communication, you can't be anonymous, okay? Because most of the time, you communicate with the person that you know, okay? So, because of this, you have to say things that are more appropriate. This is due to the fact that we might hurt the person's feeling. So, we make sure that our choice of words are appropriate. Okay, the next key difference is potential for deception. In electronically mediated communication, you can lie to anyone. Okay, it's very easy because you cannot see or hear others, so the possibility is very high. There are some evidence that I found. For example, in a study examining 80 online daters, Hancock, Thoma, and Elson found that 2/3 of the participants lied about their weight by 5 pounds or more. And then in a large sample of over 2,000 people in England conducted by Custard.com, 43% of men admitted to making up facts about themselves and their life that were not true online. Okay, but in face-to-face communication, you can lie to people, especially your appearance, okay? Because you have to communicate with the person face to face. So the possibility is low to none. Okay, the fourth key difference is nonverbal cues. In electronically mediated communication, the words and graphics are very important for us to carry nonverbal message. For example, some basic things that smartphone users do is by adding pictures or emojis to indicate our feelings, our emotions, and some of us might also capitalizing the words, which is considered as yelling, and there's actually many more. Okay, but in face-to-face communication, our body language, expressions, and tone of voice are very important, especially because we are giving direct response, right? So these three are very important. Okay, the last one is distance. So in electronically mediated communication, we are able to communicate with people all around the world, whether it is someone from the other side of the room or the other side of the globe. This is because distance is not an obstacle when it comes to technology, but in face-to-face communication, our communication is very limited because we are only able to communicate with people in front of us. Okay, I think that is all from me. Thank you for your attention. Now I'll pass to my partner Farah Suraya to continue the presentation.